Good morning. My name is Sovanroth. I come from Cambodia. And this morning it is my pleasure to present to you about the education system in Cambodia. In Cambodia, an education system has been in place since at least from the 13th century on. Traditionally, the Cambodian education took place in the wat, the Buddhist temple, and was offered exclusively to the male population. The education involves basic literature, the foundation of religions, and skills for daily life. This traditional education was gradually changed when Cambodia was a French colony. The French introduced a formal education system influenced by Western educational models. During the following civil wars, the education system suffered a chronic crisis and was completely destroyed during Khmer regime. However, between 1980s and 1990s, education was reconstructed from almost nothing and has been gradually developed until now. Presently, after its reform in 1996, the formal educational structure of Cambodia is formulated in 6+3+3. This means 12 years of the completions of general education that divides up into 6 years for primary education, grade 1 to 6, and 6 years for secondary general education, grade 7 to 12. Secondary education consists of 3 years, each of lower secondary education, grade 7 to 9, and upper secondary education, grade 10 to 12. This formulation does not include at least 1 year for preschool education that we normally call kindergarten for children from 3 to below 6 years old, and university education of 4 to 5 years. It is also my pleasure to tell you about the major development in Cambodia education. As we all know, Cambodia is one of the poorest countries in Southeast Asia. Therefore, Cambodia cannot deny the fact that UNESCO, UNICEF, the United Nations Development Program, we call it UNDP, and the World Bank have an important role in assisting Cambodia in nation reconstruction and rehabilitation. Since the beginning 1990s, the government as well as the Minister of Education arranged the education system for primary school and secondary school, such as curriculum, program extension, buildings, textbook, and strengthens teachers under the sponsor of UNESCO and others NGOs, depending on the social economic circumstances of the early 1990s, and recalling that Cambodia was then in a stage of national rehabilitation. Basic education was focused on primary education and adult education with the primary aims of enhancing and achievement of literacy and numeracy. The damage to the infrastructure of education was monumental. Cambodia lost almost 3/4 of its educated population under the Pol Pot regime. Therefore, in order for Cambodia to rebuild of the overall system to lead the development process skills, main powers are required. After the Pol Pot regime collapsed, the government, NGOs, and other external agencies tried very hard to construct the infrastructure, especially the school buildings. As the result, during the 1990s, 77 schools had been constructed by the government, politicians, NGOs, and other external agencies. Since the early 1990s, Cambodia has received huge resources from all sectors from international aids. As a result, between 1994 and 1997, aids to education expanded from 29.1 million to 53.2 million US dollars. Besides thinking about the financing to complete the goals, the government, UNESCO, as well as the NGOs focus much more on the quality teachers and teaching. The government, NGOs, and other external agencies try so hard to construct the infrastructure, especially the school buildings. In 1994, the government has reviewed its framework of the policy for the previous 40 years. Therefore, they come up with a new strategy that include increasing the hours of instruction to accord with international norm, reducing the number underqualified teachers, emphasizing improvement in education quality, and simplifying the curriculum to foster greater relevance. The curriculum was developing in the early 1990s and finalized in 1996. At a time when curriculum development capacity within the ministry was very limited. Planning for the education system take place within the framework for National Strategic Development Plan, NSDP. The NSDP for 2006 to 2010 focuses on poverty reduction, gender equity, increased real investment, institutional and human capacity building, economic reform, and attainment of economic growth. Within this framework, a 5-yearly education strategic plan, ESP, guides the development of education system. ESP identifies 3 priority areas: access to early childhood education program, increasing the quality and efficiency of education services, such as increased salaries and allowance for teachers, and institutional development and capacity building for decentralization. Higher education is rapidly expanding sectors, especially in terms of numbers of institutions. As the result, in 2008, there were 63 higher education institutions in Cambodia, 18 public and 45 private, providing for somewhere between 50,000 and 100,000 higher education students. However, the actual number of students is difficult to determine in statistical reporting for the fact that students may enroll at several institutions. I would like to present to you also the challenges that the Cambodian government are facing in the Cambodian education. The education system in Cambodia faces enormous challenges such as resources. Cambodia allocates around 9% of its annual budget into education to improve its quality. However, 83% of the fund are allocated to servicing the payment and the operations expenses. That leaves little fund for schools, facilities, maintenance and to provide proper teaching material for teachers and classroom. Rural and urban differences in education outcome, particularly in the rural area, limit the number of children who have access to education. While most Cambodian villages have a primary school, but they are not complete and do not offer a full 1 to 6 grade curriculum. Cambodian kids face greater difficulty in the pursuit of a higher level of education because secondary schools are built in less than 10% of the villages. Only 5.4% of Cambodian villages have a lower secondary school, and only 2% of them have an upper secondary school. Students can only pursue higher education if they can afford to pay the fee. Another very significant challenge concerns the quantity and quality of teaching services. Class size in Cambodia schools are high compared to the neighboring countries such as Laos, Vietnam, and Thailand. Another challenge is gender disparity. Although the literacy rate and the number of girls graduating from primary school in Cambodia are increasing, the number of girls who drop out from secondary education is much higher than the number of boys. For the fact, in 2008, the fractions of girls to boys in upper secondary is 75% and only 50% in tertiary education. This disparity can be partly attributed to the higher opportunity cost of sending girls to school, as there will be one less helping hand to earn an extra income for the family. Another issue that I just mentioned is the dropping rate. Statistically, from 2005 to 2009, primary school enrollment rate for males and females were at 90 and 87% respectively, while the attendance level are at 84 and 86% of the students heading to school. This suggests that not all the children within Cambodia are able to consistently attend the school curriculum due to possibly financial reasons, healthcare issues, and even the transportation cost. Another problem that the government is facing regarding the education system is lack of awareness. It has been established at the World Summit in Johannesburg that education plays a pivotal role in achieving a nation's sustainable development. The lack of awareness of the needs of education for sustainable development is significantly apparent in Cambodia amidst the financial poverty it faces. The priority for the nation's children dwell mainly as contributor the family finances and not the establishment of their education. Another problem is Cambodia has the enrollment rate of 10%, which is appear to be low even compared to other nations. Cambodia's higher education institution lack world recognition and is currently not acknowledged by the QS World University Ranking. Furthermore, there is inadequate communication between school and corporations. This hinders the necessity adjustment of the curriculum to equip the student with skills to meet the demands of the labor market. Graduates also find difficulty integrating into the workforce. Higher education institutions are mainly located in the major cities. Therefore, students have to bear the cost of transport and living expenses in addition to their school fee. Furthermore, those who can manage to find alternative places to live in are facing the risk of being drawn into an increasingly rampant drug culture or being forced into prostitution. Another major challenge is poverty. Poverty hindering education. Given that the poverty line in the rural area of Cambodia is set at 0.25 per person per daily consumption, whereas 53.7% of the population is still living below the poverty line. Due to the poverty, children in Cambodia are forced to give up the chance of receiving education to work and supplement the family income. The opportunity cost of sending their children to school are very high in some families, making it almost impossible for the children in the family to receive education. Based on the data from the International Labour Organization, close to 20% of children aged 5 to 9 are employed as child labor. Among the number of working children of age 5 to 17, only 45% have the chance to attend school. Non-economic productive activity such as housework tend to start earlier than economic activity, although less intensively, causing children in Cambodia to be performing double duty, whereby they are involved in both housework and economic activity each week, leaving them little or no time to go to school. Non-economic activity at an average of 8 hours per week to the total work burden at the economic activity children, leading to an average weekly working hours to almost 31 hours. Having children to work before going to school can also affect their literacy and numeracy test score. Another problem that Cambodian government is also facing regarding to the development of the educational system is teacher qualification. Teachers in Cambodia are earning approximately $20 to $50 per month. They resort to collect informal school fee from the student for the daily basic to supplement their salary. This further deters children from attending school as they cannot afford to pay for the informal school fee. With an average of 3 children per household in Cambodia, the informal school fee will add up to a significant amount, making it almost impossible for parents to send their children to school. Even the government is promising to provide free provisions of education. However, the collection of the informal school fee is still a huge problem for Cambodians and prevent them to attend school. Various reports documents the fact that teachers in Cambodia are poorly qualified. In 2006, for example, 34.5% teachers in remote areas, 6.4% in rural areas, and 4.2% in urban areas had not themselves studied beyond the primary level. And the teachers are also not highly motivated by their pay, because their pay is very small amount. Another major challenge faced by the Cambodia government is corruption. As we all know, corruption happens in most part of the Cambodian institution. The education institution is not an exception. Although there is an increasing awareness of the importance of education, which directly correlate with employment ability, citizens are merely attending school for the sake of obtaining paper qualification. There is no great motivation to learn actual knowledge and to increase one's productivity. The quality of education in Cambodia remains doubtful, and not all citizens are capable of undertaking tasks that their paper qualifications state they are capable of. Passing rates at school are also ill represented due to the bribery and the squad level of difficulty of tests handed out in school. On top of this, the Ministry of Education has to decrease the average passing score so as increase the passing rate of students or the unemployment rate in the country. However, this will certainly be affected by the qualification of the education system. For my conclusion, I agree and I appreciate for the hard work done by the government for the past years, that they've been trying to rebuild the country in almost every aspect, and also education setting. However, I feel that this is not enough. Cambodia can do much better and greater to improve its educational system. I totally agree that Cambodia is a gem country compared to others, because we have suffered so many civil wars. But I truly believe that if Cambodia is dedicated, if the government is dedicated to improve the education system, it will improve. I clearly see that the need of changing in Cambodia, especially the government. For the past years, the government could not do much because of the poverty of the country and the corruption. Therefore, I believe if we change the government, we change the leadership of the country, we can also change the education system in Cambodia. I understand that the government and others NGOs are trying so hard to provide more books, changing the curriculum, improve the teacher qualifications, buildings. But if the corruption is still the main cause of the country, it won't change much. I'm not suggesting or biased to the government, and I'm not against the government, but what I'm saying is the government should take it seriously. The government can improve the education system in Cambodia. They can adapt and learn from the neighboring countries such as Thailand. Look what are they doing. As we can see, they are preparing so hard for the Asian economy coming in 2015 or 16. So Cambodia should look up to those countries and trying to adapt good policy to make improvement for the Cambodian education. And also the Minister of Education should be sent to a developed country to learn more about the development of the education, such as Finland or other European country, and then come back with a new idea, with a new setting, a direction, the improvement of the Cambodian education. And the Cambodian government should acknowledge that education is very important in order to rebuild the country. Thank you very much for your patience, and it is my pleasure to present to you this presentation. Thank you.